Stone Protectors was released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in November 1994. It's a typical side-scrolling beat-em-up where you advance to the right and wreck the nerds they toss at you. Not unlike Double Dragon, Final Fight, or any of the other 100 plus out there, it was a battle of button mashing, jump attacking, and spamming super moves, while trying not to get hit to conserve your energy and lives. It was the perfect style of game for an arcade owner. The more quarters you had, the more lives you could buy, the farther you could get, the better the chances you will spend all of your money, including your bus fare, and have to walk home from the stupid mall. But who were these fearless, unconventional warriors, and who or where could anyone have ever gotten the idea for such an awesome team? Stone Protectors were a multimedia entertainment property in the United States, the UK, and France, although I couldn't find any evidence it was ever actually in the French language or anything. The company mainly focused on action figures and an animated series, which was written by Marty Eisenberg. Eisenberg was co-editor on a few Transformer cartoons, as well as one of the reboots of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 2003. He co-wrote a bunch of one-off scripts for some of my favorite cartoons like Gargoyles, Beetlejuice, X-Men, and Spider-Man.
Not exactly a lightweight.
Voice actors Don Brown and Ian James Corlett starred in this series, both known for hundreds of cartoons I watched as a kid. The SNES release was developed by Eurocom, which was a British game developer found in October 1988. A bunch of people whose names I really don't want to read found the company, but Matt Sneap was credited as owner, so we're only going to mention him. Way to go, Matt! The company mainly developed games for Nintendo, and had been involved in a bunch of super fun releases like Earthworm Jim, Super Street Fighter II Turbo, and GoldenEye. There was a Sega Mega Drive version of Stone Protectors developed, which was cancelled for unknown reasons. It was eventually leaked to the internet in 2010. But enough name-dropping and shit. Let's play the game already! The import of the beat-em-up arcade-style game to the home gaming console lacking a quarter slot means that what you get is what you get in terms of lives and continues. I looked and I couldn't find any extra life codes like in Contra. Games designed for you to die and have to cough up more money to keep going means you can't fuck around. Losing a life on the first level could cost you a fair shot at beating the last boss of the whole game. Also no hot dogging trying to pull off rad super moves when all you really need to do is just a few punches and a kick. Maybe a pile driver. The game starts with 3 minutes of storyline, which is more than I usually care to read. In most cases, aliens are attacking the Earth, we must save it, is more than enough storyline, and then you press the start button and play the stupid game. I guess this time around, the designers felt providing context to who you were punching was crucial to protect the experience. The graphics are actually pretty good for mid-90s. When I was a kid, I remember thinking, whoa, video games will probably look real in another 2 years or something. However, they do recycle a few animations, and there are a handful of time-saving frames of just a hand holding a gun or an axe. I remember trying to do this trick in grade school art class because you didn't want to draw the whole character. So you just kind of draw this lame hand at the end of the page, assuming that it's attached to something. Anyways, the story opens with Lord Zoc and his minion Zinc attacking the Crystal Palace of Mithrander to steal the Great Crystal. In desperation, Princess Opal summons the power of the Great Crystal, and it breaks into 6 smaller crystals, I assume, and then the pieces go flying out of the palace. Zoc grabs one, but the remaining 5 end up at a downtown music venue and transform 5 deadbeat loser musicians into the Stone Protectors. Zoc talks more about how he's going to kick the Stone Protectors' butts and stuff, and the game begins. There is an option screen where you can toggle hostility if you want to end your friendship with whoever you are going to be playing with. There is also a handicap setting for the tournament mode, which as far as I could tell, doesn't do anything in the actual game mode. By the way, tournament mode is just like Street Fighter, where you go head-to-head with a fellow protector to see who is most unprotected. One neat aspect of the Protector's take on the head-to-head game mode is the ability to go up and down in addition to only left and right like in Street Fighter. The main game mode, you can play as 1 or 2 human players, or you can have 1 human player and a computer player as one of the Protectors. The buttons are pretty easy. B is jump, Y is attack with your weapon, X is a kick, A is a punch, L and R are your power moves after doing a sequence on the D-pad, similar to Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat moves. You can charge your attack button for a second and release to do a super move with their weapon, a super punch, or a super kick. If you hit an enemy with a super move, you lose a little bit of health as a deterrent to not just spamming the super moves the whole game. However, if you're just testing, nothing happens. There is also a close-range toss or body slam pile driver type move if you get in close enough to grab someone. They did do a decent job at making each character different. You will probably find a fave or less fave troll after a few playthroughs. Cornelius is a decent all-around character and not a bad pick if you haven't played. Clifford is also a good pick for the first-time player. Spamming the plunger and anchor combo weapon thing he carries is a very effective way at cracking skulls. Chester's weapon is a bunch of phones kind of tied together that he swings at enemies. His attack with it seems a bit slower than the first two characters, and it wasn't as easy to button mash my way through the game with him. He does, however, have a rad pile driver move that redeems him in my mind, and he is still fun to play. Angus is probably the most unique character in terms of his kit. He has a handgun and a bazooka. However, I suggest punches and kicks if enemies get in close, as the guns are pretty much useless at point-blank range. He was the most fun character to use, however, might not be the best choice for a first-time playthrough. Finally, Maxwell. Being a skateboarder of the 90s, my knee-jerk reaction is to cringe at rollerbladers, since they would always hog the good skating spots. But then again, they probably thought the same of us deadbeat skaters. Anyways, I definitely take the most hits when I play with him, and he seems to react slower than the other characters, but maybe that was just me sucking that game. Stone Protectors isn't perfect by any means, but overall I really like it. It does a decent job at giving out health power-ups and extra lives. Junk food and floor cakes are scattered through the levels, which refill your health bar, and enemies drop items after you defeat them. At the end of each level, you can get an extra life if you collected enough gemstones. When you start beating up the enemy, it shows the enemy's health bar, so you can see the progress of the ass-kicking you are deploying. Almost every button is an attack button, so in moments of mashing the controls, you have a good chance of doing something punch-ish. When you attempt to jump attack, you have to press the attack button before the apex of the jump. Otherwise, the character doesn't attack, which I probably found the most frustrating out of the controls. The power moves aren't the easiest to pull off and somewhat awkward in times of need. Similar to Ken Ryu's Dragon Punch, they never seem to happen when you mean them to. Each character have unique power moves, and they are revealed after you beat the first and third levels. Other weapons are found in some levels like a hockey stick, a whip, and a flamethrower. They are way more powerful than normal attacks, however, you lose them once you take a hit or finish a level. There are 10 levels of power-driving goodness with a boss at the end of each level. It can get a bit repetitive on your own, and it's more fun if you find a friend or someone to play with. I'm not saying Game of the Year or anything, but if this one slipped under your radar, you might want to check it out.